Tonight on CFTK-TV News, MP for Skeena-Balkley Valley weighs in on Alberta pipeline propositions, citizens of Prince Rupert get the A-OK to drink the water, and Hirsch Creek hosts a swing and sweep.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Monday, October 6th, 2025. I'm Jaylene Mathews. A political tug-of-war is brewing over Alberta's push for a West Coast pipeline project, and Skeena-Balkley Valley MP Ellis Ross is weighing in as Premier David Eby's comments stir political backlash. Our reporter Helen Asante has more.
Premier Danielle Smith is calling her $40 million chance for Canada to rise as the world's leading energy superpower.
Us right now is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to unlock our wealth of resources and become a world-leading energy superpower.
MP Ellis Ross says the real issue is clarity.
Well, there's no clarity at all right now with the major projects office process that they've developed to fast-track projects. And if there's no clarity in terms of how it's going to be implemented, then no private investor is going to invest billions to build a pipeline, let alone a terminal. I think what Alberta did was in response to what the federal Liberals and Prime Minister Carney announced. And it was only natural for Alberta to do this because Prime Minister Carney said that he was going to turn Canada into an energy superpower. As well, he was going to make sure that Canada was the best performing country under the G7, which is a bold promise. I'll say that. That's a real bold promise.
He says he does not agree with Premier David Eby's comment.
Advance a project that is entirely taxpayer funded, has no private sector proponent, is not a real project, and is incredibly alarming.
No, I don't agree with the Premier in saying that because Alberta doesn't have much of a choice. I mean, nobody's going to invest in Canada right now, let alone BC, given the really vague Major Projects Office mandate. The Major Projects Office doesn't seem to make any sense, given you've got already Canadian Impact Assessment Agency that's basically designed to do the exact same thing.
Ross says his focus remains on balancing economic opportunity with accountability and ensuring that Indigenous voices are at the center of every major project moving forward.
As a First Nations leader back in those days during Chevron LNG, the development of Haisla Cedar LNG, in terms of Rio Tinto Alcan's modernization and LNG Canada itself, not only did we look to those standards to protect and balance our interests, we actually hired those standards. We got to talk about this in the full spectrum of what this means, not only to First Nations, but to all Canadians, present and future.
For now, Alberta's pipeline do-over remains an idea and a renewed question about what reconciliation through resource development really means. CFTK-TV News, Helen Asante.
In a positive development following a lengthy issue for the city of Prince Rupert, the boil water notice has been lifted. The city said in a statement released Friday that multiple tests show the disinfection system working effectively. The city says residents are advised that the boil water notice has been rescinded that the chlorine disinfection system has been able to maintain appropriate levels of disinfection and meets required water quality standards. They say this has been verified through multiple tests over the past few weeks, which was a condition to remove the notice. The notice began in early August as a result of issues maintaining an appropriate level of chlorine and associated disinfection of water throughout the water distribution system. The city says that they are working with engineering consultants to continue to work on solutions to prevent disinfection failure in the future and will provide updates to the community as the work progresses. In the meantime, they want to advise the community that ongoing major replacement work of water infrastructure has the potential to generate future water quality advisories over the coming weeks and months, and encourage the community to subscribe to emergency alerts to stay informed. And now for a look at a recreational sporting event in Kitimat. CFTK-TV's Kale Maslin explains further.
For the first time in a little while, the Hirsch Creek Golf and Winter Club put on an event that puts a spotlight on a pair of sports that most people would think are not compatible. This past weekend, the club held their Swing and Sweep event, a combination of golf and curling activities tailored to include multiple people, and included various cash prizes alongside a few other items.
Teams of people play both sports and collect points through their golf and collect points through curling. It's combined, and we find a winner by the end of the competition.
Although before the event could properly get underway, a tribute was held to celebrate the life of one of the club's most notable members.
Ian Illing has been a longtime member, a board member, and then interim staff member of the club, and was very much the leader of the club, of curling, and of the community for many, many years, and just suddenly passed away recently. So this event is a bunch of his friends and colleagues that are gathering before this event kicks off, because he was passionate about this, and just saying their goodbyes to him and a bit of a tribute to him.
And as for the actual events, the golf side of things was described as being a team scramble where everyone hits a ball, then the best shot is picked out, and then people hit again. And the curling was a shortened four-end version of it. The club is the only facility in northwestern BC where both of those particular sports can be played in the same place. But there was one other part of the event that people could compete in as well, and that was the fish race.
The fish race is a little display with some salmon fish on it, and then a roll of the dice and the fish move. And so it's like a little fish race. It's more to do with curling than golf, but it's part of this event and should be lots of fun.
The event was originally last held 7 years ago, and it had been on hiatus ever since due to a variety of complications such as the COVID pandemic. But now the Hirsch Creek Club has brought it back and expanded it to last an entire weekend instead of just a single day, and their hope is that they can continue to hold it every year as well as keep making it bigger. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Kale Maslin.
Coming up next, Prime Minister Carney prepares to meet with Donald Trump. Terrace RCMP are seeking a suspicious man. Parents reported a suspicious man at Lake House Lake picnic site in early September. The man was following female youths to the bathroom and making attempts to spy on them, and when he was confronted, he left the area. Police are now trying to identify the man, who has been described as a Caucasian male that's likely between 5'6" and 5'8", with a heavy build and a tattoo on his right forearm. He's also believed to be around 50 to 60 years old and was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, black shorts, and shoes with white soles, while also carrying a blue lunch bag. Anyone with information about the man is asked to call the Terrace RCMP at 250-638-7400. Next up is a look at an upcoming show meant to showcase local talent and help raise money for a future project. CFTK-TV's Kale Maslin has more information.
This coming Friday, we'll see the Skeena Valley Senior Society put the first ever edition of the Terrace Has Talent show on at the R.M. Lee Theater, and it will begin at 6 p.m. And there won't be a shortage of acts in both dubber and variety.
It's going to be a great show. We've got 18 acts, dance, song, instruments. It's going to be awesome, all ages. Tickets are $10. Tickets are available at Misty River Books. They're also available at Seniors Corner behind me at 2213 Archer on Bronze Island. They're also we are also going to different places in the community. So we're at Canadian Tire on Friday, Safeway on Wednesday and Thursday, and Save On Monday and Tuesday from 10 to 3.
And while one clear intention of the event is to show off some of the talented people that reside in and around the Terrace area, the Society also has another goal in mind that they hope to accomplish with the funds that the event generates.
It's a fundraiser for Skeena Valley Senior Society because we are hoping to create and build in the spring the Elder Barn on this property behind me. So behind me is a large root cellar that Seniors Corner has been operating out of for the last few months. We believe that Seniors Corner holds a really important spot in our community with regard to the interface between our seniors and the rest of the community. So we're going to build an elder barn directly behind this building to replace the barn that was there before. And we're going to continue to build food security and food sovereignty for our seniors and our community on a farm that has been operational since 1965 and continues to be so.
Diana Penner, the president of the society, also explained where the idea to put on this show came from.
The fact that every event that we hold is associated with talent. So we start every one of our social events, and we hold one every month, with games. So normally bingo and or something like that, with food, and then always with entertainment. So because we always have entertainment as a big component to what we do, it is who we are. So we are all about fun, interaction, hanging out, and supporting one another.
The show is expected to last until around 9 p.m. and will feature both a 50-50 draw as well as a silent auction. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin.
Prime Minister Mark Carney heads to Washington today ahead of a meeting with President Donald Trump on Tuesday. As CTV's Colton Prale reports, political experts liken the trip to a journey into the lion's den, but one the Prime Minister has no choice but to make.
As Mark Carney prepares for a sit-down with Donald Trump in Washington, he does so under the weight of his own expectations.
He does need to show some progress. The fact that there hasn't been any progress after missing deadline after deadline does make Canadians sort of wonder.
Carney campaigned on his strength as a negotiator, and some in Washington say he'll need to use those skills if he hopes to find any tariff relief, with the U.S. president likely to look for more concessions from Canada on trade and national security issues.
I think those are some of the toughest issues that we would have expected to see play out in a USMCA or CUSMA review process, but actually are likely to get ironed out much in advance of that.
Sources in the federal government tell CTV News they're cautiously optimistic Canada could see some relief on steel and aluminum tariffs, and are willing to brave the president's volatility to achieve it.
From his point of view, it's better to take the risk of political failure and go to Washington and meet with President Trump rather than sit in Ottawa and hope that something comes to him.
It comes as Pierre Poilievre has held back on attacking Carney's handling of Trump, instead focusing on domestic issues like crime and affordability. Friday, Poilievre posting on social media that he hopes Mark Carney will keep his promise and negotiate a win.
This is for the Prime Minister to deliver or fail. And it becomes, in political terms, a very heavy anchor, political anchor for the Prime Minister if he fails. It will drag him down.
Industry and political experts that CTV News has spoken to are skeptical that a trade deal will be reached on Tuesday, with one former White House official saying they expect talks to focus on security issues, like the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.
Next, let's take a look at your Northwest weather report. Tonight on the North Coast, expect rain, ending late this evening, then cloudy with a 60% chance of showers. Winds from the west at 30 kilometers an hour, gusting to 50, becoming light after midnight, a low of 8 degrees. Over the next few days on the North Coast, expect clearing clouds and what's looking like a dry week ahead, mainly sunny with daily highs from 11 to 13 degrees, overnight lows between 1 and 11 degrees. Tonight in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expected to be cloudy, periods of rain beginning early this evening and ending before morning, then a 60% chance of showers. Winds from the south at 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40, a low of 8 degrees. Over the next few days in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect quite a bit of sun this week. Daily highs 10 to 12 degrees, overnight lows from freezing to 4 degrees. Tonight in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, it's looking mainly cloudy with a 40% chance of showers late this evening and overnight, a low of 4 degrees. Over the next few days in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, expect clearing clouds, then mainly sun for the week, but possible flurries or rain showers by Saturday. Daily highs 7 to 13 degrees, overnight lows between 1 and 3 degrees. And now we'll check your highways around the Northwest. On Highway 16, there's construction in Prince Rupert with a detour in effect. Also watch for ditching, road maintenance, construction work, utility work, and shoulder maintenance underway. On Highway 37, watch for bridge construction and maintenance. On Highway 37A, there's a section with falling rocks as well as construction work underway. And on the Niska Highway, watch for mowing. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, a charity struggles without Canada Post. An influx of patients at a Saskatchewan emergency room overwhelmed the hospital so much that some patients were treated in the hallways. CTV's Allison Bamford reports.
3, 4, I think there's 6 beds here, and then there's more on the other side.
Video shows crowded hallways in this Saskatoon hospital lined with patients on stretchers. And for 2 days last week, that's where Lynn Harmon's mother was stuck receiving care.
It literally looks like a natural disaster had just happened.
Harmon shocked to see machines plugged into extension cords, portable dividers, and patients within earshot of others receiving procedures.
There was absolutely no privacy.
From 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., there was 172 people went by her bed.
Tim Lang's mother was treated in the hallway for 4 days after having a stroke.
There's patients were walking barefooted in that hallway. Somebody in the bed next to her got up and he literally peed on the floor.
Hallway medicine typically happens when capacity surges in emergency departments across the country. The Canadian Medical Association calls it unacceptable.
This does not provide the care we want, nor the care that they deserve.
Health officials say several factors contributed to the recent capacity surge in Saskatoon, including an early wave of respiratory viruses.
More people were accessing the emergency department, and they were sicker, resulting in more people being admitted, which created more capacity challenges within our hospital system.
At the peak, the health authority says 42 patients were waiting for a bed, but not all were treated in the hallway, and care wasn't compromised.
She just wanted help, and she got her help that she wanted. But I think we need a little bit more privacy, a little bit more dignity, a little bit more compassion.
Last month, the health authority added 20 new hospital beds in Saskatoon. Another 89 are on the way. But experts say there needs to be an increase in primary care resources to help patients avoid the ER altogether. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Canada Post strike's effects are rippling throughout the country as Canadians go without mail. And as CTV's Paul Hollingsworth reports, some are losing money over it.
And in our takeouts, Souls Harbor Rescue Mission provides food and housing for thousands of people living in Nova Scotia. Like many charities, it relies on donations to support their programs.
1/3 of our funding stream is people who are donating through the mail system.
Which means this facility is now braced to take a direct hit during the Canada Post strike.
It is incredibly impactful to Souls Harbor and other like charities because we are losing over $1 million in the mail.
That money is needed with the cold winter season fast approaching. Money from the fall fundraising program here at Souls Harbor supports meal programs, feeding people in this province. Volunteers organize hot meals at 9 locations across Nova Scotia.
For Thanksgiving and also for Christmas.
As the work stoppage continues, union leader Dwayne Corner says hurting charities is not the purpose of this strike.
At the end of the day, we want to get back to work.
We're not looking to harm these people.
Souls Harbor Rescue Mission CEO Michelle Porter has a message to donors who usually send money in the mail.
If you are able to give a different way than the mail, please call your charity, go online.
Porter says those are solutions that could help to ensure donations keep coming in during the Canada Post strike. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne is outlining the benefits of the Liberal government's new budget timetable. Ottawa plans to make next month's fall budget an annual event, swapping places on the calendar with the shorter fiscal update. Champagne argues this shift will give parliamentarians more time to review fiscal plans before voting on them. He also says it'll help builders better plan for the spring construction season. Turning to the markets now, Canada's main stock index finished higher as energy and mining stocks had a strong day, while U.S. markets were mixed. The Canadian dollar fell slightly. The price of gold gained $67.40. Oil rose by 81 cents. Natural gas gained 7 cents. Aluminum was up $17. In Toronto, the TSX was up 60 points. The Venture Index gained almost 26 points. In New York, the Nasdaq was up 161 points and the Dow fell by 63 points. Still ahead, more civil unrest as Trump turns to the National Guard. Tensions continue to escalate within the United States as some believe President Donald Trump is abusing his power by deploying the National Guard against citizens. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio reports.
Overnight, a ruling from a Trump-appointed federal judge temporarily blocking the deployment of any state's National Guard to Oregon. In a highly unusual emergency hearing Sunday night, the U.S. District Judge questioned if the Trump administration had circumvented her order a day earlier. It comes after the president defended his decision to deploy 200 California National Guard troops to Portland instead of using Oregon's own National Guard.
We send in the National Guard. You know what? We send in what's ever necessary.
We cannot normalize the approach he is taking with the military in our own country. It's not warranted. It is unlawful. It is un-American.
The Trump administration appealed the judge's order from Saturday to the Ninth Circuit, which had not responded yet. Meanwhile, over the weekend, federal officers in Portland faced off with protesters, firing pepper balls, flashbangs, and tear gas. Oregon's Attorney General asking protesters to gather peacefully as the case progresses through the court system.
Protest peacefully and be respectful to all of the dedicated law enforcement and National Guards members that serve our great state.
And in Chicago, the president now authorizing hundreds of Illinois National Guard troops to protect federal officials in Chicago. The governor of Illinois accusing the president of creating a war zone. The governor of Illinois is planning to speak later today, and in a statement, J.B. Pritzker is saying, quote, "We must now start calling this what it is, Trump's invasion." Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
3 scientists have won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discoveries about how our immune systems know to attack germs but not our own bodies. Mary L. Brunko, Fred Ramsdell, and Dr. Shimon Sakaguchi uncovered a key pathway the body uses to keep the immune system in check. It's called peripheral immune tolerance, and experts call the findings critical to understanding autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. That's our news for now. For more local news, you can visit us at cftktv.com. Thanks for watching.